Hi, welcome to the Preacher's Portal. If you are new to this channel, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. In the New Testament, the concept of tithing is mentioned less frequently compared to the Old Testament, but there are still some references to giving and supporting the ministry, though not always specifically using the term tithe. Here are key scriptures related to tithing, giving, and generosity in the New Testament. Now, here are 7 scriptures that speak about tithe in the New Testament. 1. Matthew 23:23, NEV. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give 1/10 of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin. But you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. Jesus criticizes the Pharisees for focusing on tithing but neglecting justice and mercy. He affirms that they should continue tithing while also caring about more important matters. 2 Luke 11:42, NIV. Woe to you, Pharisees, because you give God 1/10 of your mint, rue, and all other kinds of garden herbs, but you neglect justice and the love of God. You should have practiced the latter without leaving the former undone. Like Matthew 23:23, Jesus rebukes the Pharisees for emphasizing tithing while neglecting love and justice. 3. Luke 18:12, NIV. I fast twice a week and give 1/10 of all I get. In the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector, the Pharisee boasts about his tithing, showing an attitude of pride instead of genuine devotion to giving. 4 Hebrews 7:5-9, NIV. Now the law requires the descendants of Levi, who become priests, to collect 1/10 from the people, that is, from their fellow Israelites, even though they also are descended from Abraham. This man, however, did not trace his descent from Levi, yet he collected 1/10 from Abraham and blessed him who had the promises. This passage refers to the Old Testament practice of tithing, explaining how Melchizedek received a tithe from Abraham. It emphasizes the superiority of Melchizedek over the Levitical priesthood, but does not directly command New Testament believers to tithe. 5th, 2 Corinthians 9:7, NIV. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. This verse encourages generosity and giving from the heart. It emphasizes voluntary, cheerful giving rather than giving out of obligation. 6. 1 Corinthians 16:2, NIV. On the first day of every week, each one of you should set aside a sum of money in keeping with your income, saving it up, so that when I come, no collections will have to be made. Paul instructs the Corinthians to give regularly and in proportion to their income. This echoes the principle of tithing, but without a specific percentage. 7. Acts 4:32-35, NIV. All the believers were one in heart and mind. No one claimed that any of their possessions was their own, but they shared everything they had, and it was distributed to anyone who had need. In the early church, believers practiced radical generosity, sharing resources to meet each other's needs. Though not described as a tithe, this is an example of sacrificial giving. These scriptures focus more on the heart behind giving and encourage generosity, while tithing is mentioned in a few cases, but not as a New Testament command. Here are 3 key takeaways. 1. Heart attitude. The New Testament focuses on the motivation and heart behind giving rather than a specific percentage, e.g. 10% tithe. The heart and love for the kingdom and God's work are emphasized over the percentage of religious practice. 2. Generosity. Believers are encouraged to give generously and cheerfully, not cajoled, manipulated, or religiously without knowledge. 3. Supporting ministry and the needy. Financial support of the church and those in need is emphasized as everyone has everything shared in common. The proceeds were distributed amongst themselves, leading to fellowship and koinonia. Jesus Christ never demanded tithe because it was not an alien practice to them, as they boasted of keeping the law of Moses. However, in the early church, they gave all they had and shared among themselves. Tithing, in the New Testament, is more than 10%. It is giving all according to the abundance of the love of God in you. Christians need to be educated on the importance of giving and its relevance or implications, and stop the unnecessary arguments about tithe. Subscribe for more Christian contents.